Well, hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me in my shop here today. It's June. It's January 13th. No, it's not June yet. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to replace the remaining 5 capacitors. I'm just going to do that off camera. And then we're going to test the radio and perhaps complete the alignment on it today. Before I get going though, it's pretty hard making these videos these days. I'm Canadian, and like all of us here in Canada, we're listening to the upcoming American president talk, and I'd just like to make one comment, and this is what's happening. Mr. Trump is consuming all the goodwill that exists between the people of the United States and the people of Canada. Now, if you're American, you probably don't really realize that. You haven't, because you don't feel it, because you're on the American side of things. But if you're here on the Canadian side, or I would go forward and say some other countries that are being talked about, the goodwill that exists, the very important goodwill that exists, is being consumed rapidly by Mr. Trump. So 40, 50 years of doing stuff together, one guy comes along and flushes it down the toilet as fast as he can. That's what I say is going on. Now, I'll try to calm myself down. One of the reasons I come in my shop here is to avoid exactly what just happened. But, you know, I do have an audience. Half of you are American, and you guys got to open your eyes to what's happening here, because you just seem to be sleepwalking off a cliff. That's what it looks like to me. And taking a whole bunch of others with you. Okay, Jim, go drink some coffee and calm down. Do some capacitors. Stop recording. Okay, got all those in. Just double check them. Make sure everybody got soldered. And the answer is yes, every one of these is soldered in. Good. Okay, next step is make sure the radio is operating, and then consider doing some alignment work. Great. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put a new power cord on here, and this is a polarized plug, so I've made sure the live prong is connected to the switch, and I think we're ready for a test. I still don't have the front panel put back on the radio yet. Shake out the bits and pieces that I dropped in it. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of junk there. Usually I don't do the bench cleaning on camera, but time here. Okay, plug them in. There's the 5 capacitors I changed out all at once. So that's not necessarily a good idea. Okay, so the radio's on. Let's turn it off for a moment. My power. Make sure nothing bad happens. I do have the booster antenna ready to go back here. Okay, so the on-off switch is working. Power off. Okay, did lots of changes, so for sure we're going to go through the dim bulbs here. Perfect. You can see the light is lighting up a little wee bit. Okay, volume up a bit, and let's tune down where there's some stations down this area here. See what we get. Volume 0, still hear it a wee bit. Oh, weather report.
You know what? Pretty good. Second drive going on. This report brought to you by Diamond and Diamond Lawyers. So we've got construction, and it's on the westbound 401 through Ritson, and they're occupying the right lane. Just a bit of a slowdown there, and the access from Ritson onto the west 401 is blocked.
Pretty bright.
Slow west 401 from Leslie to Avenue Road, express collectors. And that's about it. Eastbound delays between the 427 and the 400. A bit busy through Kiel and the collectors still, but it's really not too bad. It's really just to east of the 400. Then you get back up to speed, and the rest of it's good on the eastbound 401. Southbound 404 DVP, slow from approaching Shepherd to south of Lawrence. And the rest is great. Northbound, no delays. So if you need to go north, now's the time.
Come on, weather.
Because of the long-term construction from Spadina to Jameson, and the QEW west is
not
good.
dealt with this
Eastbound slow
situation
through,
here.
Third line. And then from about Humber Bridge to east of Jameson on the eastbound Gardner, and that's long-term construction on this direction. See why so many clients have referred their friends and family to Diamond and Diamond, Canada's largest injury law firm with over 65 lawyers. Call 1-800-567-HURT for your free consultation. With the forecast, Jill Taylor.
Well, there could be some freezing drizzle around this morning. A few flurries today, otherwise cloudy. The wind will become very strong out of the west-southwest this afternoon, and falling temperatures from a guaranteed high +2 this morning, sit at about -3 this afternoon. For today, the guaranteed high +2 this morning.
Right now, we're sitting at 0 downtown with cloudy skies, -1 with flurries at Pearson. 680 news time, 10:33.
So we know we're tuned to 680. So now would be a good time to put the plate back on. And then we can adjust the pointer right on 680. And maybe we'll be lucky at that point. Now there's this bracket here. What was the purpose of this? It kind of fell out when I wasn't looking. Well, it's got a big hole and a small hole and only a small hole here. So I think that has to go this way. I don't know about that. How else could it go? It can only really go this way. That's weird. This hole ends up, I think it's supposed to, yeah. Does it go on like that? Was it sitting? It must have been sitting like that. Had to be. Okay, get this out.
Get it down. 1% at the max. It's hard. 49 at City Hall. I'm on.
680 news time, 10:35. Charges have been laid after a pickup truck rolled over on the QEW in Oakville, killing a 9-year-old boy. 680's Kolinski's at the scene with more details.
An absolutely senseless and tragic death here on the westbound QEW by Bronte Road in Oakville, where just after midnight, OPP Sergeant Tim Dunna says it appears the driver of a pickup truck fell asleep at the wheel and the pickup drifted.
Crossed all the lanes, entered the ditch, then rolled numerous times, and then it came to rest landing back on its wheels.
Isn't that terrible?
A 9-year-old boy who had been sleeping in the back seat was ejected and killed.
Oh.
It didn't have to happen.
He wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
No, sir. He was not wearing a seatbelt.
So he was tossed out one of the windows. Yes. The 38-year-old driver who was injured and also not wearing a seatbelt will be facing charges. On the QEW in Oakville, I'm Kolinski.
And in California, firefighters were able to make some headway over the weekend in their battle against those deadly wildfires, but fierce winds this week are now threatening that progress. 680 Scott Burnett joins us live with the latest, including more help coming from Canada. Scott.
That's right, Irene. Around 60 Canadian firefighters being deployed to the region today. The big threat, though, between today and tomorrow, high winds that threaten to fuel these fires. Advisories and warnings in place calling for high winds, wind gusts up to 110 kilometers per hour. As of this morning, the forest fires in the area have scorched 160 square kilometers, an area larger than San Francisco.
Way
The
off.
official number of those killed in the fire sits at 24. That number expected to rise as well.
Seems centered here and here and here.
Say they
We're not here.
Would fit into a hastily packed suitcase, and that the path forward remains unclear.
68.
Are finding some land.
680.
50,000 people trying to find rentals. You have landlords trying to price gouge listings that were once 1,200 to 500, now 10,000 and 20,000.
Following critical comments from
Okay, I misplayed this.
President J.D. Vance about his leadership amid the crisis, California Governor Gavin Newsom says he wants to see the incoming administration visit the region before Trump takes office a week from today.
680.
Him as I did Donald Trump to visit with the
Hey,
community.
the alignment's perfect.
Of the scale of this tragedy and be here for the American people.
This is expected to be the costliest natural disaster in American history. Early estimates putting the cost at around $250 billion.
Wow.
Live, I'm Scott Burnett.
Well, there's no indication incoming U.S. President Donald Trump will back down on his threat to slap Canada with a 25% tariff on Canadian goods, even after Alberta Premier Danielle Smith met with Trump at his Mar-a-Lago resort over the weekend. In fact, she's also calling on the federal government to not use energy as a point of leverage in any upcoming tariff disputes. Here's 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney.
Fresh off her two conversations with President Trump, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith doesn't believe oil and gas should be involved in the discussions around any retaliatory measures. The federal government hasn't ruled out using energy levies or even an embargo with the U.S. to battle against U.S. tariffs. And it's something some premiers are pitching too, since it would send a clear message to the new administration, given the American reliance on our resources. But Smith argues any hurdles on the energy front would hurt both our economies to the point that it just isn't feasible. There's no point in making empty threats that cannot be executed on. Smith warns if this does happen, it would spark a national unity crisis in Canada, but didn't elaborate on her next steps there. Currently, federal ministers are working through a list of items that could face retaliatory tariffs, including orange juice, ceramics, steel, and American alcohol. Premiers will sit down with the Prime Minister for a First Ministers meeting in Ottawa Wednesday. Trump's inauguration is a week from today. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Well, don't say we didn't warn you. Bundle up if you're heading out the door.
Yeah, so I thought I'd let that play because half of you who watch my video, so perhaps you are American, you might be interested in hearing what how Canadians are responding to this. I mentioned earlier in my video that Mr. Trump is consuming the goodwill. You can kind of see it happening here. You can kind of see what's happening. And we have to change our attitude here in Canada from one of partnering with the United States to one of seeing the United States as an attacker, and we have to protect ourselves from it. And that's a useless dynamic. We're your neighbor, for crying out loud, and we are your biggest trading partner, believe it or not, even though you like to talk about China an awful lot. There's a huge amount at stake here, and if things go the wrong way, Canada will have to find another partner. I just don't understand the Americans. I don't. If you're American, I don't understand you. You're snapping at all of your friends in the world, and for what? Like, for what? What is it you're going to get? You already are the richest country in the world. You already are. The average American is 30% richer than the average Canadian. You already are there. And it's nonsense to think that somehow external countries are taking advantage of you. This is something Donald Trump says all the time. Well, the shoe's on the other foot, for crying out loud. You're the powerhouse. My God. How crazy is it? Oh my God, I'm losing my mind here. Okay, I gotta stop because I've lost my mind. This is what's happening. Not just to me, but to all of us in Canada, Denmark, all over the world. What the heck are you doing? Where the heck are you going? What is this supposed to do for you? Attacking all of your partners. It's complete, utter nonsense. Oh my God, I've lost my cookies here. I gotta stop now, for crying out loud. Ah! See, goodwill's disappearing in me, too. Of course. Okay, I think I calmed myself down here. So the wire we were looking at with the camera up here, this green wire, I think if I try anything at all, I'm going to just destroy what remains of the insulation here. And it's not actually passing through a metal hole. I mean, there is a metal hole, but inside that is a non-conductive piece, and that's what the wire is actually going into. So even if you removed all the insulation here, I don't think it would touch the metal can. So best thing for me, leave it all alone there, because that leads to an ugly job on a couple different levels. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay. What do we want to do here? We want to align the radio right. So without the radio on, we will align the pointer. So we just turn it to an extreme and then level it here. Okay, we'll go to the other extreme and we'll see how level it is. Good. Good. Okay, and I have to start the radio up. I gotta start it. I'm not quite ready here. Let me get ready. Oh, things have become a little bit difficult for me here because I've got a cat in my arms. Okay, want to go on the bench? Go ahead. Check it out. Nothing's turned on. So the first step in the alignment I want to do now is to tune the radio to 1600, which would be here. Let's just check that pointer again. Straight across, eh? So actually the pointer doesn't start right in the center, it starts offset. So maybe just a wee bit further, like that. So it's perfectly straight across. This is pointing below the scale now. Okay, looks good to me. So 1600, we would put it here. 1600, we have to dial up the... he's pretty happy. Look at that tail, straight up there. 1600. You gonna help me do this? This guy's name is Bert, by the way. Bert as in the nut. Filbert. Filbert. 1600. I got it right there. There we are. Set this down. Oh, I gotta make a connection. Wait a minute. Okay. He's a purring machine. I don't know if the purring's coming across on the video, but he's purring up a storm here. Ah, he's on his way. Hey, look at all this junk. Man, there must be trouble in here. Yeah. Yes, there is trouble in there. So we have 1600. I have the meter connected here. It's going to pick up the ADC voltage and show it to us. Don't walk on the keyboard. No, don't walk on the keyboard. Or next thing you know, he'll be the producer. Okay, go back there. Yeah, show him your rear end. Good show. Okay, we're going to turn this on. Don't knock my antenna down. And I think we're safe enough here. Even with a cat running around. There we go. I don't think he's been on my bench before, which is why he's watch out, radio's gonna start up. No, don't sniff on the radio. There we go. So that's what we get. Let's tune around and see if we can find it. No sign of it. Okay. Yes, I know. Pet me, please. Pet me. I've got a very strong signal coming into the loop. The loop is hanging right on the antenna there, so. But you know what? Cat has distracted me, so nothing like a cat distraction. Okay. Now, I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's a wise idea. So what we're going to find out now is what frequency is this radio really tuned into. Way down here. Way down there. Huh. So it's way off. Oh, look where this cat's going. He's going in behind all my equipment here. Hey, don't come out there. Where? Come on. How am I going to get you out of there? You fool. Come on. Uh-oh. Bad things are happening here. Come on out. You've gone too far. Come on. Come on. Out. Out. Don't go back there again. Come on, out of here. Oh my gosh. Your tail. There's your last look at him. Out you go. Okay, that was a bit of... Oh, I feel a lot better now. You know, that's the thing about these cats. You erase all your concerns. Fantastic. Go away now. Go find your brother. Go chase this piece of paper. Oh, that worked. Okay. So we really want this to be at 1600. So we need to change the oscillator. Oscillator adjustment is this one here. You can hear it tuning. So let's get a screwdriver. See if I can make that a little easier to see. Yeah. Well, it's too white. Let's go the other way. Okay. Kind of see the meter there. I'm having trouble seeing it. Okay. So we want to raise it from the 1478 up to 1600. So we're going to go up frequency with the signal generator. And we're going to throw a little more power into it. So I can go a distance. Okay. I can still barely hear it. I'm going to figure out which way to turn this capacitor here. Tighten right down. So somebody's probably come in and just tightened it right down. Okay, let's see where we are now. That's 1500. That's 1550. Okay, I'll set the signal generator 1600. Who's on my leg? There's a cat on my leg. There we go. Okay, watching the meter now. Cat is not climbing on my leg anymore. Very good. Now that's at 1600. Now it says do something at 1400. Let me just take a read here. The other adjustment is adjustment G, which is the antenna adjustment. 1400, a line antenna. So we'll go to 1400. Okay, and we'll dial in 14. I gotta put this a little further away. I'll hang it there. We'll dial in 1400. Yeah, it's 1400. A little more juice. Where are you? Oh my gosh, it's way off. It's way off. So I got 1400 here, but it's... What happened to 1600? Okay, 1600. We put this on 1600 and then dial it in on the radio, like tune it in. It's on the money. Wow, it's way off at 13. 14 rather. Let's go to 14 again. Okay, 14. 1350. Okay, so most of the popular stations are down in this area. Let's go way down there and see what's happening. So that's probably 680 at 700. That's probably 640. 590 seems to be correct. Let's go right in the middle, right on the 1 million setting here. Okay, and we'll dial up 1 million on here. 950. So how can it be correct at 16? They're wrong in between, but correct down here again. So I think, you know, they can't make these things properly linear, or at least it's really difficult to do it. So they get as close as they can, and then they produce a dial that's going to match what's happening in the radio. So if you look at the dial, you see that there's 5 kilohertz from here to here. So that's 10 kilohertz here. But on the other side, from here to here, that's 20, 30. That's 30 kilohertz here. So you can see the nonlinearity is really kind of obvious. Now, hopefully they made the scale right, so it matched the radio, and probably did when it came out of the factory, but at this point it no longer matches. Why is that? Poof, I have no idea really what could cause that, or how you could deal with it, or even if you really can. Let's try it again. So that's 950, so that's where that really should be. Should be able to get 865 here. It's a strong station. That's 740. It's a cat climbing up my leg, man. A cat on my leg. Oh, he gave up. Nothing like a distraction. Well, I'm not sure I can make this any better. Let's do this. Let's just use the radio. It's not going to be perfect, and I have no intention of making these radios, not this kind of radio, anywhere near perfect. We just want it to be operating and be safe to operate. And, okay, so we're putting the booster antenna right on. So it's quite a strong boost coming. That's 820. Ooh, 740. So this can't be 820. Oh, okay. This is 820 here. This is 865 here. 865, 820. I'm not sure what that is. 740. 680. 640. Uh-oh, I'm confused now. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That's 590. That's got to be Buffalo. The whole. You know what? I'm gonna make it correct here.
Free throws down the stretch, especially, really shot him in the foot. Miscommunications in transition and pick and rolls, which led to wide open threes by Detroit. Detroit was 19 of 33 for 58% from the three-point line. And a lot of them were just wide
590.
open. Guys were
610.
Other than what we are.
640.
Freedom-loving nation.
Slow through the long-term.
680. 710 from St. Catharines. 740. I listen to this station a fair bit. I'm not sure what that one is. So that's 820. 860, a little better now. At least it's on the right side of 9. See if we can get 1580. Well, these are all local ground wave type stations. I'm not getting anything long distance. a couple hundred miles at the most. Well, we can't get so 1580 is an AM station north of here. Serves an area north of here with popular music. Popular music from when I was in high school. Hey, this radio's working fine. You're not gonna have any trouble finding a station.
We missed 20 free throws.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you could miss the pair, got the offensive rebound, RJ missed the pair, right?
Well, it's not looking perfect, but looking a lot better after cleaning it up. And you can actually see through the plastic again. And let me show you something about the knobs, which are really kind of ugly. If you look really closely at them, you can see there's a Z on the front of the knob. Z for Zenith. So those are real Zenith knobs. You know what they say? The quality goes in before the knob goes on. Yeah. Okay, let me just make sure I got this one on all the way. Okay, let's give it a go. And we're going to give it the full shot here. There we go. See what happens. Always a tense moment here.
Fares with improved service and increased support for affordable housing and public safety.
This proposed budget will mean change in Tonians' lives today. Change means libraries open 7 days a week. Transit fares frozen while TTC service increases.
You might want to focus in on a couple games instead of 8 at once. Well, I have 2 that are on all the time.
It's $5.90.
Okay, so I have 4 screens. Truck industry. Project Dodger will see a dedicated team work to address.
There was a time in my shop, up until a couple years ago, where anytime I tested a radio in my shop, I could pick up 3 stations maybe. Because of the conditions in here. And I've really overcome that by using a mini whip antenna outside. And it's powering this loop, which is just laying on my bench back here. Well, that's enough to bring in enough signal. Well, let's find out. Let me tune something in, not some music. Okay, that's a weak local signal. And I'm going to cut the antenna off here. So that's what happens when I remove the external booster. It's working great. This radio's working great. This doesn't want to get, maybe it's an antenna angle problem. So I'm trying to pick up 1580, which is a weak. Of course, the directionality is not going to work with the booster on. Okay, good enough anyway. There you are. Zenith radio back in its cabinet, ready to go home. Actually, this is heading for the second time around store, and it'll be on the shelf down there for sale for, I don't know, $50, $75, $100. I don't know what they sell them for, to be honest with you. So that's great. We're done. Yeah. Now I gotta think of what's going to be in here next. So thanks a lot for watching the series, and we'll see you on the next one.